What's good? You know we back. Y'all know what it is. Happy Wednesday. We back again. The Beat 139, Doc and Don Vito, the Shaq and Kobe of the podcast, the super team, Keith Cash, Jay, Ted, Big Dog, we in the building.
Yeah. Don Vito, Keith Cash, Doc, my man Jake on the ones and twos, It's Wednesday. Y'all know how we do on Wednesday, man. Y'all get ready. We got an amazing guest in the building. She goes by the name of Katherine Nunez. She's a superstar actress. You know what I mean?
Thank you. That was a great introduction.
Like that pretty lime green coat you got on.
You already know.
Representing. You understand what I'm saying? And Kat, how you feeling today, young lady?
I feel great. Motivated as usual. I always wake up positive for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where you from and how you grew up as a young lady.
Well, I grew up in Weehawken, New Jersey, and that's a town right across the city, right? It's like it connects New York to Jersey. So
Correct.
It's really small. That's where I grew up, but I grew up right next to the big city. So I always was like, in the city hanging out. So I always say I'm a Jersey girl living a New York City lifestyle because I'm always in the city. You won't even catch me on the Jersey side, but I love and I rep Jersey hard. I grew up humble. Like my mom, she's Dominican and, she came to this country to work and, do the best she could.
So your family from DR?
I choke up when I talk up. Yeah, my family's Dominican and Spaniard.
Santo Domingo?
Yeah,
okay,
Santiago.
Okay. Santiago?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's where we're from.
You had any siblings growing up?
Yeah, I got a younger brother. He is 3 years younger than me, but he's like my big brother because he's like more mature than me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Shout out to him.
But yeah, so I grew up in the city. I mean, I grew up in Jersey, but very close to the city. So I always was, gravitating towards the arts and like doing things in the entertainment business. And yeah.
So your family's from Santiago. So how was life for your family, like your moms and them? Do you know anything about their history in Santiago before they came to the United States?
So my grandmother had 4 baby daddies. So she was very busy.
She was rocking and rolling.
Yeah, she had 9 kids. So I have like 8 aunts and uncles, but everybody was very united. My grandmother was the head of household and, she taught us family values. She passed away 6 years ago, and that kind of like separated the family a little bit because everybody was like, okay, now we can move. Everybody was like here in Jersey for the sake of my grandma. But yeah, so we grew up very humble, throwing having little family gatherings, family parties. And I was always like the little girl taking pictures, modeling, putting on my mom's clothes and getting dressed up. I always liked being in front of the camera. So
you like that early age?
I was like that very early. Like I wanted to be in front of the camera since I was like born.
So that was your passion from the gate?
Yeah. And my mom didn't help either because she always had a camera and always had me in a dress. And she was always like, come on, stand right there, pose right there. So I was always like...
Because you're a beautiful woman, right?
Yes. Thank you.
If I can imagine.
I didn't mean to sound so cocky.
You're a very beautiful woman. A lot of Dominican women, that I come across throughout my history, in going to DR and even in New York, they're very talented as far as beauty. But so I can imagine what I was saying is that you were a very cute young girl when you were growing up. So your mom probably had a cute little dresses to taking pictures and shit all the time.
Always had a different out. Like I think she kept some of my outfits. I mean, my mom spoiled me, but she did the best she could with what she had, and she definitely went all out for me. Like I was her only girl, so
right.
Yeah.
Okay,
y'all was close. You and your mom close.
Me and my mom were. It's like that mother and daughter. Like we love each other, but we always gonna fight. And Dominican moms aren't easy. I don't know if y'all heard.
Yeah, I heard.
But Dominican moms are very strict. And, growing up, even though I was very, fortunate with the little bit that she would give me, I also didn't have much freedom. And the little bit of freedom that I would really take advantage. So I wasn't an angel growing up.
So they kind of sheltered you a little bit?
They tried to, but I always found my way.
So you're the only girl. How many brothers you got?
I only have one brother.
One brother? Her brother.
I have one younger biological brother, but I do have like a few big brothers like that look out for me that I could.
Uncles and stuff too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of uncles, but my favorite uncle lives in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
He has, once my grandmother passed away, he moved to Vegas and started his
You
family
said
there.
you said earlier your family broke apart when your grandmother passed away.
Yeah,
Y'all ain't as close. Who gonna take the torch? Because I think family is important, and
it
y'all was doing
is.
this all these years, and 6 years is not that long ago.
So I think it was a little more than six, but like it feels like it was yesterday. I try to take the torch, but my mother doesn't let me. And my mom isn't like, she just, she's getting older. So she doesn't have that like energy to like bring everyone together. And I'm so busy. Sometimes I do get caught up with my career and, moving and grooving. I just focus on my little family.
Right. So early on, as a young girl, you say you got introduced to the camera early. So what type of things did you do as a young girl going to school?
Not much. I mean, I would go to school. You mean activities, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
extracurricular
yeah.
activities?
Where were your interests
Oh,
at when you was young?
oh, I was a cheerleader. I definitely did the cheerleading thing. I was part of like the mock trial. So I was like, I liked arguing. So
Like a debate.
yeah, I was part of the debate team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call.
Yeah,
We
they call
called it mock trial back
yeah, they call
then,
it debate.
but I guess it's
Yeah,
debate.
they did a movie, The Great Debate. They debating back and forth. You know, most people they said that's like trends have like tendencies like lawyers. People who like to go back and forth.
Right.
People argumentative. It's all fall in the same line.
And it for me, my family always used to be like, if you don't like become a model, you better become a lawyer because you love to argue and you're always right. And I always had an excuse and a reason for why I was right. And I always made sense. Like it was always like, damn, she kind of right though. So but yeah, so and then I was also part of the theater club. But so the first year that I decided to join the theater club, because I was cheerleading. I was like, also being a bad girl. I was like hanging out with the wrong crowd a lot and like, smoking pot, doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get distracted and I did get pregnant very young. I had a baby at 16. So that year that I joined the theater club was the year I got pregnant and I tried to hide it, but they found out. And so I couldn't be part of the play that year. So that kind of shattered my dreams when it came to acting because I really did want to, that would have been like my start. And that's always good on your resume. You want to do stuff in high school that leads into your college life and into your future. So I felt like my world was like torn apart. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, I can't do the first play. The first time that I decided to be that you have to get accepted, you have to audition.
Right.
So it's not like you can just join the theater club. You have to audition and then they accept you and then you're in.
Right.
And yeah, so I got pregnant very young.
So how
you had
did
a
they
boy or
find
girl?
out though? How did they find out?
Well, I was getting bigger. Even though I was a
Yeah.
small girl and I was tiny and I was skinny, I was able to hide it up until like 7 months. And then they were like, we know you're pregnant and you have to take a pregnancy test. And like, then.
What kind of school was it?
It was a regular public school.
Okay.
Weehawken High School. Shout
You
out
had
to
a boy or
Weehawken.
girl?
I had a boy. He's 21 now. I love him. He's my best friend right now, and he helps me with all my table reads and like, everything happens for a reason. I feel like not only was I, even though I was doing a lot of the things that I love to do, I was still moving with like the wrong crowd. I was still like outside being promiscuous at a young age.
It's a roughneck.
Yeah. So, it happened, but I love my baby because he's my best friend now.
Well, even though you had him young, it's a negative and a positive, but it's more of a positive because y'all kind of close in age, but know he gonna ride or die for you. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he definitely does.
Right.
Yeah.
He's gonna make sure his mom's is good.
Yeah.
Because like you said, when your grandmother died, just like with my family, my grandmother died. My family is not as close as they were, and nobody stepped up like Doc said and took that role as to hold
Yeah,
the family
to be
together.
the
So
head of household.
everybody's all over the place, but your kid gonna always hold you down.
Yeah, no, my son definitely holds me down. Both of them. I have two boys. So I
Okay.
had my second son when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first like most important years of your life, which is supposed to be like your educational years, you go to college, you figure yourself out. I was home being a mom. But I always was like, damn, like I felt the urge, like I felt like I was missing something, like the fear of missing out.
Mm.
So I think 3 years after I had my second son is when I was like, okay, I don't want to be working a regular job anymore. I can't do this. I am quitting my job. I worked at a law firm as a receptionist, but I
Mm-hmm.
worked at a law firm. And then I got into the nightlife, and that's kind of like how I started being in the entertainment industry, because I started working in nightlife, promoting clubs, being in the scene. I started off in Jersey, then I moved into New York, and then I started bartending because I was like, oh, this is easier. I feel like I don't have to really talk to people that
Mm-hmm.
So
much.
at
But
that age, what type of celebrities you ran across for the first time, and how was your reaction towards them?
oh, I dated a few of them, but I don't. I never ever was like a starstruck kind of girl. Like I always looked at people like, yeah, one day I'll be like hanging out with y'all. I used to hang out with Ice T and Coco at like the age of 18. I remember I had a best friend who was like their assistant, and like he used to bring me around. So it wasn't like a big deal for me to like, you know,
They also
So
live
you
over
said
in
you
Jersey
dated
too, though.
one.
yeah, they all grew like I grew up in Weehawken, and they all lived down the river like my whole
No, I
life.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but this is we have a lot of people, they want to know these
Oh,
things.
they want to
The
know what
Beat
they.
139, we big on stories and stuff. So
So they want me to tell them a
they want to know.
story.
Yeah, they want to hear the stories.
I can't remember.
The,
Do you want me to
the
say
guy you
names?
date, you can say yeah, names is always better.
Oh, I don't want to say names.
Name gonna get you fame. Name's gonna get you fame.
Oh my god. I don't want to
It's in
say
the
names,
past. It's
but
in the past,
me,
so
I had red
it won't
hair
hurt.
and his name had the word red in it. And that's all I will say
Okay,
as far as that goes. At the
okay.
time, he was pretty poppin'. I did one of his music videos. Oof. That was like in 2012 or 13, something like that. Yeah, because then I got, while working in nightlife, I started doing music videos and working with like a lot of celebrities, Jim Jones, Cameron. I worked with Cameron a few times, but he's always like, in his own world.
So the guy you date with the name Red in it, was y'all in a relationship or just
I would say it was a
just
situationship
this yeah situationship?
because it went on for a while, but it wasn't serious, and I
Okay.
was okay with that
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
was just like, I was focused on my career and I wasn't really like pressed to be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, when you're dealing with people in entertainment, it's
it's
very
casual.
hard to
It's
claim
always
a relationship.
casual.
It's like a
Yeah.
situationship, like you said.
Yeah, it's
Things,
always
people moving
casual.
and doing their thing. It'd be like,
Yeah, some people get caught up and think, and that's why it don't be lasting sometimes. They
Yeah.
get over jealous.
I think for me, I learned early on that I don't want to be in a relationship with a celebrity or someone else who's in the entertainment industry. I'd rather be with someone who's like more behind the scenes.
yeah, if you date anybody like in sports, like athletes or entertainment, you already know things come along with that. I
Yeah.
mean, they don't have to, but they happen a lot because because of the type of reaction they get from people, people that's fans and
And
stuff
I
like
don't
that.
got time for that. I'm a
You a celebrity,
Dominican
so
mom.
how it is with when girls date you? You a celebrity, so do they? How they is with you?
I mean, I get the same reaction. You understand what I'm saying? But you gotta if you with somebody, you gotta let them know their place, or you gotta let them know.
You got to be
If you
honest.
want a relationship, or if you don't want a relationship, you just want to be friends. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let them know early on because women deal with emotions, and when you tell them something, they they want that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's best to be upfront and just tell them what is it. Let them make their choice how they want to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I always was in control of every situation I've been in. So I kind of always went into it like, yeah, this is not going to be serious. So just
Hmm.
have fun and that's it.
Yeah.
And like, if it was a recurring thing, it was a recurring thing. But I felt like at the time, it's like just good vibes, good energy when we hang out. is fun, and then like we'll go back to our normal lives. But then after a while that got old, because things always get old, and then you're like, all right, I'm not gonna keep just stopping everything I'm doing so you because you pulled up, you know what I mean?
So you said you hung out with Ice T and Coco. At this time, you know, Ice T had, well, I don't know what the
I
exact
was like
time it was.
18, so I was
So
really
he doing
young.
New York Undercover. So you tried to like get in any movies, anything like that?
No, at the time, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I was like more into the modeling. I was like, I'm going to model and start there because like I said, I didn't get into the theater program. Like I couldn't do follow through with the theater program in high school. So I was already very discouraged and I didn't think I had the tools necessary cuz you can't just get into acting without having the tools necessary. You have to go to school. You have to train. And I think people think they can wing it and I'm sure there's a lot of naturals out there, but everybody gets training. Ice-T trains with a lot of people that I've trained with, and because he has to sharpen his tool, like even when he first started, I'm sure, you know. So I didn't know at that
What
time
type
that
of
I want
training are you talking about?
acting,
Right.
you know, scene study, character development, you know, what kind of techniques do you want to use, you know, knowing your who, what, when, where, and how for each scene. um you have to, and then you have to know who you are as a person to be a good actor. You can't just
So
get
did you
into
try to
acting.
wing it in the beginning? Because most people, like you said, a lot of people think that, like, all right,
I
it's a
didn't.
role, I could just jump right in it and be
No,
myself.
I didn't try to wing it. So, okay, well maybe I did. So in 2013, I did my first short film. It was called Hotel Guest. I had red hair at the time. I was modeling more so than acting. So I had a friend who was a director. He went to school. This is what he studied, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be shooting a pilot, a short film. I want you to be in it." You know, he gave me the character name, character breakdown, boom, and I winged it, but I was pretty good, you know. He was like, it's okay, but he did tell me, he's like, you need to take some acting classes, like you should, just because I was so good that if I just sharpened my tool, how great could you be, you know?
How many scenes was the pilot?
For that, I think I was in like 2 scenes.
Okay.
I played like the inside, the maid that was like doing the inside job for a robbery. It's about a heist. They, you know, this group of friends, you know, they committed a heist. And I did that in 2013. So there I winged it. And then I didn't do any acting up until 2016, when I asked one of my friends. I was like, I want to get into acting, but I don't know how, because I really didn't know how. I was just like doing all these videos, and everyone's like, yeah, it's a who you know, it's who you know, and it is who you know, but you also have to be in the right group. Like I was in the wrong group, like not that it was bad, but I was in music videos when I should be taking acting classes and meeting other actors and other video directors, writers, you know, other creatives. And so in 2016, I started taking acting classes, and that's how I started really, you know, developing my craft.
Was it hard for you to remember your lines?
I think with acting, it's not so much about remembering your lines. It's more so about listening to your scene partner. Because when you listen, then you know how to react naturally to what they're saying. So I always remembered that technique. You know, it was like, I think I forgot which acting coach, because I've taken so many classes, but they were like, just listen. You know, stop waiting to say your line. Just listen, and then you can naturally respond. You're gonna say what comes at natural, but always know what you're supposed to say too.
So what you're saying is that, so if you have a script
Mm-hmm.
and you know your script says say XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
you listen to the person who's speaking and hear what they're saying. Automatically, even if you didn't have the script, you will respond a certain way. So if you listen to them, you're ready to respond a certain way. So you might remember your lines even better because you took the time to listen to them.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So we also here we definitely in tune with our
Audience.
our audience. And someone knowledge here great supporter of the show. He said, did anybody ever approach you for sexual favors in the industry? For
No.
roles?
No. Thankfully, I have not.
Good question. No, it's a good question.
It is a good question. Have I felt uncomfortable in certain situations? Yeah, but I've been in the industry so long that I could kind of detect it and know how to derail from that. But I've never like blatantly asked me like, "Hey, if we do this, you're going to be never." Thank God.
You know why it's a
Because
great question? Not to cut you off, because throughout the history of women in film,
yeah.
this has happened. Even in entertainment, music, women have got challenged in that way, just because you know to be be on camera or be on a song, they were beautiful, or saying if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. A lot of bullshit goes on in the entertainment when it comes to
Yeah.
women. So that's why I said it was a great question.
No, it's a great question. I'm always down to answer it.
And so I want to ask this: your first movie, the budget. Like, was it a big budget movie or like a low budget movie?
So Pocket Full of Game it started off as a low budget, but it became, I mean, it's still considered low budget in the industry. I think it's like 100K. That's still a low budget film in Hollywood. But in the hood, that's like, okay,
Who shot that? Deborah.
Deborah,
Shout
yeah.
out to Deborah. That's my
Shout out to
homegirl.
Deborah Cardona.
Deborah's my girl.
gave
What up,
me-
Derek?
she
You
gave
know
me
the show,
Yeah,
too.
you did a good job on it.
I sure did. I put my best foot forward in that film because it was my first time that I was able to like showcase my talent. Has the lead. She gave me that opportunity. She trusted me with that role. And till this day, she's like, "Mama, you killed it." Like, you know how she talks, "Mama."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm very grateful for her. And yeah, it's Pocket Full of Game is what got me my start. It's what kind of like got the ball rolling and what got people to look at me and say, "Oh, she's an actress." Because I was modeling for so long, so people didn't take me serious. They were looking at me like she's just a pretty girl. She takes cute pictures. She could probably host a few things, but she's not, an actor. But then when I did Pocket Full of Game, everyone was like, "Oh, okay." I started getting phone calls and working with a lot of directors that, I'm so grateful that, and I'm grateful for that. Like, you got to start somewhere. People aren't going to just hire you without seeing what you've done.
Right. Body of
You
work.
know what I mean? Like, why should we hire you? It's like a job. It's Acting is literally like an everyday job. You have to go out there and hustle and look for your next gig every day. You signed up to be unemployed. And, unless you have your tool, like you need a resume, a reel, you need your tools to get the job. It's like going for a regular interview.
So, is there any role that you feel uncomfortable playing or you won't play?
So, I try not to like think of like I love all the roles that I get offered.
No, not what you get. I'm just saying in general.
That
Like, is there a role that you'll rather like stay away from? Like, if the script get presented to you, or you whatever.
I'm trying to think because I'm so open minded when it comes to my craft. I don't like to put myself in a box, so I'm down to play any role. I just played a prison inmate in Secret Love Triangle, which is on Lifetime. And, a lot of people were like, "Oh, why are you, playing a prison inmate? You should showcase Latinos in a better light. Don't take on roles that show us in that light." And I'm like, well, I'm an actress, so I'm going to take on whatever
Yeah,
roles
that's bullshit right there.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that don't even make sense. I mean, you just playing a character.
I'm
You know
playing
what
a
I'm saying?
character.
And the character don't have to do with no color.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, like she said, now she dealing with that part as far as she's saying the Latino community. Sometimes now, like if you're in a relationship and you ain't the money not coming in like that, like maybe a guy like who married to
You're saying if I'm in a
big
relationship,
millions
is
of
there a
dollars.
role?
No, well, like now you're dealing with the fact the first time you may have to have like a love scene.
Okay.
Now you have to deal with the situation with your man, like how he may feel about it compared,
Yeah, but there's that.
Various
There's
in-
that, but I
in-
can
in
answer that
acting.
question real quick. There's always going to be that, but you got to understand. Let's take Dwayne Wade and what's his wife's name? Gabrielle Union.
But he met her. She's an actor already.
That's
so
what
it's a
I'm
big
saying,
difference.
though. So, but if she's an actress already too, whether she took a role or not, you understand? You got to understand that sometimes she's going to be approached to do certain little scenes that, I mean, that the
Yeah,
bag is right and she comfortable with, he got to accept that. You can't be telling her what
absolutely.
role to take and
No,
what
I'm not
role not to
saying that, but
take.
I'm
You can't
saying
do that, man.
Would
even
it
for
make
her,
me feel
your first
uncomfortable?
time, like your first time doing, like you act okay, pocket full of game. Okay, now you do this movie. Let's say you did three or
I've
four
done
movies
about
before.
3 or 4 sex scenes
Okay,
in the movie. Better than my last with Hassan Johnson. That was but again, it's like you're on set. It's not as uncomfortable as people think it is.
It's not
okay.
real.
It's
No, I'm saying,
fake.
but I'm just asking because she coming up like it's not like someone who been doing it for like long time. Like
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, people like that.
I
Who,
know what you
But
mean.
you know what an
yeah,
actor told me? You got to understand, when you first become an actor or actress, you're going to get approached. You're going to get approached somewhere down the
Especially
line.
in the beginning of your
Yeah, you're
career,
going to get
like a
approached,
lot
man.
of
You
actresses,
know what I'm
like
saying?
they've shown some
The
skin.
only
They
one
have
I
to
ain't
show some skin.
understand who took a role was Will Smith, when he took that role a long time ago when he was already on. He was already on,
but
and he took that role, and that role is like, Will, to me, it was real degrading for a guy who was already on. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But to each his own. What you
no,
gonna
but
do?
that's degrading. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times you hear a lot of stories now. A lot of women now speaking on stuff early in their career. Like, okay, Michael Douglas, I gotta say allegedly, but they say he would when he was in scenes with women, they say he was trying to like stick it in. A lot
Really
of women
stick it
said
in.
that. Yeah. Cause mind you just in I'm assuming you just in
I
your
think
panties and you under a cover and a guy may try to, you know what I mean, and stick it like they said Michael Douglas was notorious for that. So you know what I'm saying? You gotta that's why I'm asking these things like I don't know what type of scenes, but I know like when you get in exclusive movies like that, a lot of this stuff be happening a lot.
yeah.
And
I'm
and I hear
not
a lot of women talk about that, even like with the Harvey Weinstein. There's just a
yeah.
lot going on that women felt uncomfortable with, but they was doing it because the money and then want to get that role.
Absolutely. And I think that because a lot of women, like the Me Too movement is so big now, I think a lot of people are scared because I am coming in a little later. So I'm kind of grateful for that. I didn't, if I would have started at 18 when I really should have started getting busy, I would have probably experienced those things because it was like very relevant back then.
Yeah.
But now I think a lot of guys are scared, and if they do get away with it, I don't know how, because women are speaking up and are very vocal these days, and I don't see anybody hiding that, you know happening to them. Now for me, as far as like having being in a relationship and feel, would I take on a role like that? I mean, yeah, I would.
Right.
And I would have a conversation with my partner. And I think, like you said, if he met me as an actress, he kind of has to understand and
Right.
be okay with it, unless it was like, listen, because there are situations where like I think Seth Rogen, he wasn't comfortable with his wife doing like a photo shoot in like a bikini, and she's a surfer.
Right.
And so he was like, if you can't respect that boundary, then we're gonna have to end this marriage. And I was like, wow, like some people really have boundaries, and
Mm-hmm.
you either respect them or you don't, and you have to always do what's best for you, and that's it. Like, so I will always do what's best for
Now
me.
that
Wow, we
you
got
got
a Tina Mills said Doc only B list. She said two. I never watched Tubi. She said Tubi movies be having sex scenes when they really be naked.
yeah,
No, not
100%.
on. Well, I haven't been. I have like so. I always try to talk with the director when I'm on set, especially for Tubi movies that are, low budget. I always talk to the director. Can we figure out how to make this sex scene more, implied, as opposed to like, now some girls are very comfortable in their skin and they'll do the wham bam thank you ma'am, but I've learned from taking so many classes that you can request to direct the scene in a different direction, and tell them, listen, this would make me feel more comfortable if we did the scene this
See,
way.
well, I watch a lot of Tubi movies. Right? I watch Tubi every night. Goddamn. You know what I mean? And
It's getting good.
nah,
Like
but
I remember
yeah,
when
I
I
watch
first
Tubi
started
every
and
night.
everyone
Man. I
was like,
like Tubi.
what's
I like to
Tubi?
see. A lot of the movies are relatable, even though I know they low budget. But here's my deal:
They're relatable.
a lot of them girls who do them sex scenes with the boom boom and all that, they be strippers. You know what I'm saying? They be strippers who who take on acting and want to be in the movie. So they already been showing they shit and they comfortable with moving like that. So they don't care about that. They want to get that bag. There's another way for them to get that bag. A lot of them be strippers because I read up on them.
Yeah,
You know what
no,
I'm
I
saying?
know.
And they
I've
be
seen
strippers.
it.
So,
Yeah.
but there are movies also where they do the scene where you get undressed, you see them kissing and hugging, and then it go and then
And it fades away.
it cuts, and then they wake up together cuddling, but you didn't see nothing. But the imagination runs, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, they all not gonna be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Dream actor, dream actress, dream director. If you could pick a dream, who would you rather? If you could pick one person as an actor, actress, and a director, who would them people be
For
for you
for me to work with.
to work with? Yeah.
So for a male actor, definitely like Denzel, uh George Clooney. Um there's not too many. I mean, there's a few. I just
No,
can't
that's
think of
good.
them off the
That's
top of my head.
good.
And then females, Zoe Saldana. Like I want
Who?
to Zoe Saldana. Am I
Okay,
saying her
I know,
name
I
right?
know. No.
Saldana.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Mhm.
Zoe Saldana. Sofia Vergara. I want to work with all the Latina actresses and then some. Meryl Streep.
How you feel about J Lo?
I love J Lo. I of course I need to work with J Lo. I didn't even mention. I just think of J Lo all the time. Like J Lo's like, she's the queen. But I think that she doesn't get enough credit for a lot of the work that she's done, and she's very talented.
She's very talented.
And yeah, so definitely J Lo. And
Director.
director. Uh, damn, there's so many.
This you say one or two. It don't matter.
What's her name? She does BMF. I forget her name,
Oh,
but she does
you talked to
BMF.
she does BMF.
She's a female.
She's just
I'm
started.
sorry.
She blowing up.
I'm so bad with names,
I know
but
her
yeah,
name. The dark skin lady. I think start with a T.
yeah,
I think it start with a T. But
BMF.
yeah, Tasha.
Tasha
Tanya
Smith.
Tanya Welch.
Tasha Smith.
No, Welch.
Tasha Smith.
Welch. He said it right. Keith said it right.
Oh,
Tanya Welch.
but she's directed. A lot of people don't know that she's directed a lot of episodes for for I think Power and BMF
Yeah, 'cause
and
a lot of
Raising
people
King.
they star in it, but they directed as well.
But
Yeah.
you know one thing you said, and I respect what you said.
What?
You said I got to represent Latinos. I love when people represent who
She's
they are.
Latinas.
I think that I don't
some
do it
people try to
enough
run away, try
sometimes.
to, when they, like you hear with two black men, some people try to be like, I don't want to say this because I don't want to. That I respect that, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I feel like I grew up in Weehawken. So I grew up in a town where like there was so many different people from all different walks of life. So growing up, my mom wasn't, because she came from DR and she was trying to like get her papers and be like all American. She even dated like this white boy. Like I'm like, I didn't really feel the Dominican culture growing up until I would go see my grandmother when we would get the family together. Then I felt it. So I feel like I don't get to represent for my culture enough as much as I would like to, because I'll be honest, when I try to represent for my culture, they'll be like, you're not really Dominican, you're an American, like you were born in America. And then when I don't, they're like, oh, you're not representing for us. So it's always like, it's like I don't know.
So when we have like rappers, say singers, we always say, bust a freestyle. We tell singers sing.
You gonna tell me to do a monologue?
No, just off the back. If I just throw something at you.
What you gonna throw at me?
A psycho chick.
Mm.
We just gonna freestyle.
So what did you do last night?
I ain't do nothing. Why you keep asking me what I'm doing? I ain't do nothing. Well, what's the problem?
When I ask you a question, it's because I already know where it is, right?
You don't know nothing.
I know where you were last night.
Where I was at.
You know where you were last night. And
Where
if
I
you
was
don't
at.
tell me where you were,
Where I was
I
at.
want you to say it.
I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying
You
nothing.
know where you was at.
Where I was at.
Oh, so you mean to tell me that you're not going to tell me where you was at last night?
No, I wasn't. Where I was at.
You better speak right now or we're through. I'm done with you.
Well, you're gonna have to be done because I ain't come from that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, so now you ain't getting no fucking pussy.
Well, I just don't have to have it. That's good.
I didn't know what to do. I just tried to.
The reason why she hit that on the nose because I met some people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what they do? They always trying to trick you with that
Yeah,
bullshit.
like they know.
Like they know don't know a motherfucker thing. They're trying to get you to tell on yourself. They don't be knowing nothing. But she had you for a second. They played. They had that look too. Like,
That motherfucker thinking like,
listen, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna listen. If I'm asking, that must means I already know. That's a game,
yeah,
man.
that's a game. Yeah.
That's pocket full of game.
Pocket full of game.
Good job for y'all. Good job, Doc. Good job, Catherine.
So what else you want to
So
know?
you have anything up and coming that the viewers and followers don't know about?
So if you guys don't know, you guys need to see me on Lifetime. I play Michelle on A Secret Love Triangle. It's a mystery murder, one of those type of films. It's a Lifetime flick. So if you're into that,
Lifetime is dope.
yeah, if you're into
I
that, that's
watch
my
a lot
most
of
recent
Lifetime on
project.
TV, man. 'Cause that's where the drama's at, man.
I fuck with
Netflix is all over the place.
Yeah, I fuck
When
with
you
Lifetime.
put on Tubi, you know what you're gonna get.
Right.
And you put on Lifetime, you're gonna get them cycle bras that she had right there. Everything is some crazy motherfuckers.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
This particular film, there's some crazy people, so you don't want to watch it. And coming up, I got a project with Jamal Willard from Notorious B.I.G. I think he goes by Gravy.
Right.
I did something with him
Big
called
dude.
"Will You Marry Me?" Yeah, and
Yeah.
Julito.
Yeah,
too.
he's all over Tubi. He got like 900.
He's
Tubi
all
movies,
over
man.
Tubi.
God,
Yeah, every time
He the
I
Tubi
mention
king.
him, they're like,
Yeah.
he's Mr. Tubi.
He's Tubi like a
Tubi,
motherfucker.
yeah.
He's a Tubi heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
good.
that's pretty much it. And I'm always working on it. I'm writing a book, Tales of a Latina Girl. So stay tuned for that. That's a book about my life. It'll get really in depth about, who I am, the things I went through
Mhm.
as a teenage mom, and like how I kind of like used all that pain and, followed my dreams. So yeah.
Good.
You have an agent?
I do. I have an agent, Arcos Management. They represent me. They're the ones that like get me my auditions and get me my bookings.
Mhm.
And I've been working with them for a year and a half. So that's another thing. As an actor, like it's very important to have an agent. If you don't have one, you're kind of like in limbo.
Yeah.
And there's two different worlds. There's two different worlds in this thing. So it's like, yeah, you want to do the independent stuff, but then you want to tap into this world, and that's where you need an agent. And
You gotta have agent, or
represent
they don't
you.
respect you the same way.
They don't.
Gotta
Yeah,
have
they won't
agent.
even look at you.
No, just like even artists, like rappers and singers, you gotta have a manager. They won't respect you the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't come in representing yourself.
Yeah, when I was modeling, I had about like 3 different managers. But then I tried to represent myself. I am a tough cookie, so I feel like everybody always used to respect. They would either respect me, or they were scared of me, or they were like, I don't know if I want to work with her. So it was like, there was always like a double-edged sword
So
when you manage yourself.
the pay, starting out, when your manager presents you, this was the movie pay. You the type you just want to just get your, your movie, your catalog up, or the pay is.
Right now, right now at this point in my career, the pay is definitely like important. I do follow the SAG union rules, so I'm being fair when I charge people. But then I also take into account my brand and like the things I've done in the industry for the past 10 years. So like aside from me being an up and coming actor, I've been in the industry a long time. So like if you're going to put me in your flick, like people are going to watch, people are going to see, people are going to tune in. So I charge according to that. So in the beginning, I was always like working, for just to get my name out there.
Like for instance, like the guy right there, he got the cameraman, right?
Hmm.
And he's shooting a web series, and he wants you on like 2 or 3 episodes. You go through. He had to go through. Like, if you know him, and he had to go through your agent, or he'd be like, yo, Joe, what up? And he asking you, how that works.
So I always feel bad because I want to work with everybody, right? But at this point, my manager is like, don't even entertain web series, or she doesn't even want me to entertain anything on Tubi. But I have relationships with certain people, but those people treat me good. So like I'm not working with people that are gonna have me like struggling on set. I'm working with people that have the budget, and when I'm on set, they got food everywhere. They got craft
A real
services.
set. Yeah, a real
Yeah,
set.
so it's a real production.
Right.
Even though it's indie, it's still like it's being taken serious as like a real production. So, but yeah, right now I can't do any web series. I can do like podcasts, things like that. Like that's different. But to work on a web series right now, unless I was producing it, that's different.
That's why I said like
You want me
one or
to
two scenes.
collaborate, and
That's
we
why
can
that's why I'm
produce
saying
and we
like
make
a
some.
couple scenes, not like
Yeah.
you in the whole thing, but like a couple scenes. Like
Are you asking me to be in your web
no,
series?
I don't have a web series.
You know what
You
it is,
don't?
though? You know what it is? I understand what she's saying, right? She's been
I'll do it for you.
Oh, you
No.
doing it? Okay,
she's been
okay.
grinding for a while, and every actor or even us with the podcast, after a while of grinding for a while, you want to go mainstream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you do a web series, you're trying to go mainstream, it's like going backwards a little bit because you've been in that hub for a while already. You want to go mainstream, you got to take on bigger projects that's going to get more attention, and that's what an agent is going to do. He's going to get you in these positions where you can blow. You know what I'm saying? Web series are cool, but web series are not mainstream.
But
They
but
just
you can't.
If
good
it-
You know how
things
you
to
can't
watch.
always
sometimes.
say that.
So I'll
For
say
1 second, you know how you can't always say that because it's like you saying that right. Let's say okay, somebody like Jada Kiss. We say yo Jada Kiss, yo come to the beat 139, blah blah blah. We trying to elevate.
But he's top 5 dead or alive.
So
So of course we're
now
gonna
he,
work with him.
yeah, but he can sit there and look like, man, I ain't doing no
No, he-
podcast. I'm on Hot 97. I'm gonna be with the Breakfast Club. I'm doing stuff like that. Sometimes it's like it works. It's like a feel to it.
Certain,
You can't
yeah.
always say because the web series like there's a lot of web series was good. Money and Balance. There's a lot of things that web series
And it
made
got picked up,
outdo,
yeah.
A, a budget that's
No,
on
I would
Lifetime.
I
So
definitely
you
would
never know.
No, absolutely, and I hear what you're saying. You can never feel like you're too big for anything.
Yeah.
And I agree. But I also feel like for me, I want to have more especially on smaller projects, I want to have more creative control then. Let me come on as a producer. Let me get a piece of the cut. Like I won't charge, but if it do get picked up, I want to get some money. You know what I mean? Because you never know.
But see, you got to understand something too, though, right? So let me dissect what you just said, right? Jada Kiss already got a fan base. He already know he lit. She don't. Like, she don't have it like him. So she on her way up. He been up so he can jump in and out any lane he wants to because he's Jada Kiss. You understand? That's just like we have a podcast radio show. We on the way up. But you had Nori from Drink Champs who already been out there. You got Cameron and Mace just came out. They blowing. These people are already on. So people going to run on their joint immediately. For us to take a step backwards, something like that, it might make us blow. But then again, it might be like, them niggas still ain't doing that all this time.
That's where I
about
come
it,
from. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like a double-edged sword because you
Yeah.
don't want to seem like you're too good for anything, but then you also have to always keep elevating
Yeah.
in your career, in your craft. If you move one step back, it's like moving 3 steps back almost. So I always say, yeah, I'll hop on like a web series has a producer, has a director, because I have those talents too. I can help other actors get into their characters if need be, but to be the face, I don't know.
In
Depends.
most web series that I've seen that were really good, always promoted violence, man. It's always the violent ones that was the ones that was the best ones.
Right.
You think web series, you think of gunplay, you think a whole lot of other stuff that goes along with that. You don't see no love stories. You don't see no real fly shit going on with web series. You don't see no action type of, assassin type of shit going on where you want to, oh shit. You see the shit that we in the hood and we fucking each other up type of shit all the time.
But the reality is that's what draw people.
I think web series
like, not all the time. Not all the time.
But for most of the part, like for instance, we here doing this interview. It's calm. Let me and you or you and him get into an argument and shit get a little crazy for a second.
Oh, please don't.
And it pick up steam.
Drama sells. We know that. We know that.
Me,
our biggest shows is what he's saying is that.
That's the reality.
And we didn't understand it. We do things with the kids and the school teachers and the politicians. Their views are okay. Soon we get somebody here talking about they gonna put some work in, or they did this, or they sold these drugs, whatever. We got like 150,000 views.
I sold drugs and killed people in movies. Right. Movies.
Tell him you wipe his nose. Yeah. Tell him you gonna wipe his nose.
I'm gonna wipe your nose.
His mouth. I'm gonna wipe his nose. He pissed on himself.
Yup.
That's the shit that sells, but that's fucking America, man. You know what I mean? They don't want to see that shit in society, but they damn sure want to see that shit on the screen.
That's why they 100%. Promote. That's why they promote the drill music and stuff like that.
Well, yeah,
especially like in Chicago, because it's the killing that really like, oh, this is really real. It's backing up what they saying. Mm-hmm. So that's like it become like a movie.
I feel like with the drill music though, it's like these artists are like coming and going. Very few are like staying consistent, and it's because they're getting locked up and going to jail, exactly. Right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you're out there and you're like trying to make music, make music that's positive, relatable but positive, and it'll still hit. Trust me.
Yeah. So you ever thought about doing any singing?
No.
You said that
no.
shit.
I sing in the bathroom and that's about it.
I'm saying though, I mean, be honest with you, J-Lo ain't no hell of a singer. Man.
No, she's not.
You know what I mean? But she could sell it though.
She got
the look and she could dance.
She got a good team of people that she pays to make that work for her. And that's great. Like that's what I love about J-Lo. She's like a great brand. Like, and people don't really,
they support her no matter what.
Yeah. To me, she was like the first female brand ambassador, like the original. Like there's Kim K, but there was J-Lo before that. And she was, closing deals, fashion deals and all that stuff way before that. And I feel like she doesn't get enough credit. Yeah. But yeah, she's not a singer. And I feel like even though I'm not a singer, I still do. I'm shy. I'm more of like, give me a script. Let me break down the character. I'm a nerd,
Have people ever approached you that way? As far as like,
yes.
I'm sure they have.
They have, especially when I was modeling. And I thought about it, but I couldn't get into it. So when I'm not passionate about something, I don't do it.
Right, I got you.
I'm passionate about telling stories and helping people tell their stories. So
if people want to get at you, tell them your social media links.
So if you want to reach me, if you want to get in contact with me, if you want to get to know me, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Katherine K. Nunez. And that's Katherine with a K. My website is katherineknunez.com. And follow, watch all my stuff on Tubi. You can literally type my name in, Katherine Nunez, on Google, and everything will come out.
That's right. Y'all heard it.
Okay.
All right, Katherine, let me ask you a question, though, right?
Ask me a question.
Can you tell them what's the #1 podcast show in Harlem?
You already know, the Beat 139, baby.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to the show.
That was fun. Thank you. I'm shy, but